but the people here in Washington are still in charge, and we haven't converted them, and we're just seeing signs of it, that it's possible when we can get 209 people to support an auditing bill. So we just have to do our best and see what happens, see if the calamity hits us before we can make some calm, deliberate decisions and make some changes. But my guess is that we'll have the crisis before we can do that.
Absolutely. Things are certainly deepening. When do you see the next big plunge downward, deeper into this globally engineered depression?
Well, I think it's really going down now, but the government statistics sort of are giving people a false sense of security, so I think we're still slipping. But there will be more announcements and more bankruptcies and probably more commercial property problems and more states going bankrupt and more unemployment. Then finally, the euphoria on Wall Street of the last 4 months it'll dissipate, and that'll feed into a lot of disappointments. But, even though Wall Street has done a little bit better by these prices going up a little bit, I don't think the average guy out there that's lost his job has started to feel any better yet. And I was impressed the other day that some of the news media have reported that the real rate of unemployment isn't 9%. It's like 18%, when you add up all the people who don't look for jobs anymore or who work a couple hours a week. So it's a very serious problem. And,
exactly. The mainstream media is now having to admit more and more that the government is lying and spinning because they want to keep some credibility. Sir, I want to specifically ask you in the time we have left, how do we help you get this bill passed? How do we help you get H.R. 1207 that has 209 sponsors now as of June 10th, 2009 on this Wednesday edition? What can we do to get this passed? What can we do? Because going back to you at McKinney Ruff's when you gave a speech after I did 5 years ago, it's in my film Matrix of Evil, you talked about how the key was when the global crisis came in, the establishment would try to use the crisis to bring in their Bank of the World, their world currency, because you were reading the same globalist documents I was.
Yeah.
And then now it's all over the news, and they're posing as the saviors, and the public is going, wait a minute, you're the guys that did this, so they are looking to you and others. So there's this vacuum that's about to happen. And I mean, just speaking to the fact that, as you always said, when this happened, we had to put in the maximum effort. So we want to put in the maximum effort. You're the general. You're the George Washington, sir. What do we do?
Well, I think we just do more of what we're doing now and building our numbers. I mean, you have a large number of people that listen to you, and you continue to do the things that you're best at. Now, following up from our campaign, we started the Campaign for Liberty, and that website helps bring people together, and our numbers continue to grow. But right now, in a more specific way, they need to go to Campaign for Liberty, get the names of those who've signed on, and find out exactly the congressmen who have not. And then instead of, if your congressman has already signed on, go to the neighboring congressman and organize and find out where the meetup group is and list these people on the internet.
And go to their office. You could go shake their hand, couldn't you?
Yeah, that's it. And when the members come and talk to me, they say, they'll come up and they'll be very nice, and they're just trying to do their job. They say, what is this bill that the grassroots are all riled up about 1,200 and something? And I said, well, it has to do with transparency of the feds so we know what they're doing. Oh, I'm for that. Then they sign on. But they came to me not because they wanted to be on a Ron Paul bill, but because the grassroots were telling them. Actually, politically, I have to take a little credit. It is a little more popular being on a Ron Paul bill now than it used to be.
Oh yeah, you're out there setting bushfires in the minds of men and women everywhere. You've been introducing this. I remember 10, 12 years ago, you'd get like 5, 6 sponsors for this.
No, it's changing now, and it's politics. I mean, especially marginal Democrats and marginal Republicans, when they need this 10 or 15% of the vote. If there's a Democrat in a Republican seat, boy, they really want to pay attention to what I'm doing. And
Congressman, in closing, I want to ask you two quick questions. Number one, there's a domino effect, isn't there, from what you've been doing? Because as you move to audit the Fed, other agencies and groups and government start thinking, here's AP today, Congress subpoenas the Fed about where all the billions of dollars to Bank of America went because they won't tell Senator Sanders and Congressman Paul and others, yourself. So again, here's this idea of holding these guys accountable is starting to happen, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it'll be contagious, and that is very good. And I think that fortunately we can get all political groups together on transparency, and then we can argue out what we want to do. And matter of fact, Barney Frank has been helpful to me on this, but he wanted to make sure I knew he didn't agree with me on the ultimate monetary policy, and that's okay. If they believe in transparency, then open debate. But I so strongly feel that if we get transparency of the Fed and the people know what they've done, I think their days are numbered.
Well, it's been said that an audit of the Fed will abolish the Fed because as soon as all the admitted criminality we can see them doing openly, what do you expect to find if we do get the audit, or how will they fight that?
I think there'll be some surprises, but I'd be most interested in what they've done with the international organization, which countries they've bailed out and which central banks that they helped, what they have done with gold and whether or not they've loaned out and sold gold and how they manipulate markets. I would imagine they even manipulate stock markets for that matter. And how they do it would be the thing. I think it would be a big audit. I think once they get in there to trace that thing through, it may be a big complex matter because it's international as well. So I see my time is running out and I have to say goodbye.
Congressman, thank you. In closing, you'll hear about in the news in the next few days. We broke it. Just like the DHS documents demonizing yourself and others. The government is demanding an inventory of even 100-year-old cannons at all VFW posts and threatening to have BATF raids if the veterans of foreign wars doesn't basically become their little snitches. So I hope you'll look into this, Congressman, on top of everything else you're doing. Thank you so much for spending.
Very good.
Thank you so much, Congressman.
Bye.
Take care. There he goes, ladies and gentlemen. On to the next matter. A very busy man, Congressman Ron Paul. And we skipped that break because he got on with us a little bit late, running off of the floor to join us.